Alrighty then. Okay, folks. Been a while since I did a video. I'm not a regular streamer and all that, so I don't have a regular schedule, and life just kind of happened. But I decided I wanted to do this one because Dragonbane is a very interesting and system, and I have really grown to enjoy it. Only played it once. I guess I should start at the beginning. So my daughter turned 11 in February, and we had been talking about trying to get into a role-playing game. She said she was interested in trying them. So, but I didn't want to introduce her to Warhammer Fantasy. Not that there's anything wrong with that for an 11-year-old. You might have to dumb down some of the gory violence if you have that kind of stuff, depending on your kid and all that stuff like that. But it was just I felt for a beginner RPG, it's extremely crunchy. Combat is crunchy, spell casting is crunchy, everything about the game. So I wanted to find something that was a little bit more, for lack of a better term, kid-friendly or new player-friendly. So I started looking around, and somebody, I don't remember who, mentioned I should look at Dragonbane. And I started to look into Dragonbane. It is a roll-under system. It's a D20 based. You basically have a target number, and you have to roll equal to or less than to be successful. There's no degrees of success. The only thing is the typical, you roll a 1, it's a critical success. They call it a dragon. If you roll a 20, it's a critical failure, and that's a demon. And bad things happen and good things happen when those happen. And then they have boons and banes, which I believe is called advantages and disadvantages in other game systems. Except that boons and banes, from what I understand in these other systems, because again, I'm a Warhammer and Twilight 2000 fan, the boons and banes stack. So, for example, if you're trying to do something and you got a boon because you've got a heroic trait, then you get an extra die. If you've got a boon because the person is prone, you get another die. But then you're exhausted, so you get a bane. Well, what that does is it takes away one of your boons. So for every boon, you get an extra die and you take the better roll. And for every bane, you roll an extra die and you take the worst roll. But again, if you get 2 boons and 1 bane, they subtract. So you end up with 1 boon. So you roll 2 dice instead of 3. So I like that. And I thought, at first I was kind of, I don't know. But watching it in play, I kind of enjoyed it. The other thing that captivated me about Dragonbane was its history. Dragonbane has been around as, don't get me to line. Where is it? There it is. Drakar Ok Deminar, which I'm so sorry for slaughtering it for anybody who knows Swedish. It was a role-playing game in Sweden, and it basically translates to dragons and demons. And it's got a very long history back in the 80s and so on, and it's been through several different companies and different versions, but it's been around as long as any other role-playing game. So, sorry, my ring, I hit something today, and my ring is biting into my finger. So we gotta fix that. But it's got a very long history, and it's got, and you can see the influences in it. They've got dragons and demons, and their races are human, dwarf, halfling, elf, but they also have mallards and wolfkin in their base. Holy crud, no wonder that's been biting under my finger. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's split, so that piece is cutting into my finger every now and then. But sorry, I digress. The system got revamped and bought. Licensing went to Free League, which I never knew about, but Free League, of course, is, for those of you that know me, one of my favorite game companies. Don't know how they get these licensing for all these games they do, but I think they do an astounding, whatever words you want to use, to their game system are just great. I love them. I'm a huge fan. So when I realized they were Free League, and then I read more about Dragonbane, the more I liked it. So I went ahead and picked up a box set. Now, mind you, I call it a box set. It's not a starter set. This is something I think Free League hit it out of the park with. Instead of the traditional starter set, which gives you pre-gen characters, a map or two, and a little itty-bitty game, and a really thin book with only the rules that will apply to the starter box set. You know, instead, you buy the box set for Dragonbane, you're getting a full-on rule book. It's a soft cover, but it's a full-on rule book. You're also getting an adventure book with like 11 or 13, something like that. It's around a dozen adventures that I believe they all interlinked. I don't know, because what I ended up doing when I decided that I would get my daughter into role-playing by through Dragonbane, I basically told a friend of mine who has run Dungeons and Dragons before. He's been a game master before. I said, hey, if I buy it, will you run it? And he said he agreed. So I bought the box set. I gave him the rules. I gave the box set to him. I looked through it, not the adventure book, but I looked through the rule book. And I gave it to him. And then I liked the rule book so much, I bought the hard copy. I bought the, I believe it's pronounced bestiary. The bestiary has all the beasts in it. I keep mispronouncing it as bestiary, but I have since learned it is a bestiary, and that's actually a real word that means a compendium of creatures or something like that, to that effect. And then I bought Path of Glory, which is an adventure book. I did the same thing when I bought Path of Glory, and I got it. It was shrink wrapped. I flipped it over. It didn't seem to mention anything about players needing to have access to it or anything. So I just gave it to my friend in the wrapping. I'd never unwrapped it. The intention is eventually I'll get this all back, and if my daughter likes role-playing games and she enjoys Dragonbane, that I'll run it for her and her friends in the future. However, if she doesn't like it, it's Free League, so I can put it on the shelf with all my other Free League games. And then, of course, I got it all for Foundry, and that's what we're doing here today. But again, the system is good. We played one table around the table, myself, my daughter, and two of our friends. And, it was basically almost just immediately jumping into combat and then going to a town called Outskirt. I forget. But it's it's the actual name of the town. But, and that's another thing that I really, really enjoy is, the game is initially set in this place called the Misty Vale. It is like a perpetually foggy, overcast valley surrounded by mountains that has been, I use the term loosely, recently colonized and starting to be explored. I don't, like I said, I didn't read much of the rules and stuff, But it's a young area to explore, so it's going to be really cool because we're going to be the ones kind of exploring it, and it'll be cool. But it's purposely designed so that you can stick this Misty Veil into whatever setting you want to do. If you've got a world that is a bunch of archipelagos and islands, this could be a mountain area that's in something like that, or whatever world, whatever realm that you have. There's some backstory to some stuff, but a lot of things are very purposely left vague. You know, they talk about these different races and things like that, but they don't, they don't say like they hail from here and they this and that. So you can kind of build the game as you go along. So again, really cool. I think it's really cool. There's nothing wrong with the Warhammer style, with its lore and its the depths of the lore that goes into Warhammer. And Warhammer still will always be my favorite. Eventually, I would love to run in face around the table Warhammer session or play in one. But for now, we'll do this one. We only did the one game session. We had a lot of fun. The combat system was the only thing I was not sure about, but it ended up being not as bad as I thought. And I'll have to do a whole primer. Primer. I should say primer. I should do a whole video on combat in Dragonbane alone. But, guys that watch this have watched me before, I'm supposed to still have done a video for Twilight 2000 combat like a year or two ago for some people that asked about it. But, again, really cool setting to play in. But we'll go enough. It's almost 15 minutes into the video and I haven't even started character creation. But we'll start there because, the game's all about the characters. Character creation is what I consider simple. It's not really complex like most things. You'll have your character. You're going to have your... Let me create a character real quick. All right, there's a character sheet. I don't like these being 10, so I'm going to change it to 2 real quick, just so I know. And then I actually did this right here. I created this, did some cut and pasting of their rules, and put in the charts so that you can, for those that use Foundry, it's in the journal. I mean, it's in this area section of the journal, but I just did it all together in one section for ease of, mainly for me. Players can still, I can link them and they can open this section and go through and look at all of the information that's available and everything. So again, like I said, they have humans, halflings, dwarfs, elves, mallards, and wolfkin. So the mallards are the ducks, of course, and wolfkin are, well, wolves. Each of the kin have a racial, basically a kin ability that is specific to that kin only. For example, I have a mallard, and so my mallard has ill-tempered and webbed feet. The way that works mechanically is abilities and heroic abilities, kin abilities and heroic abilities have a willpower cost. Your willpower cost will start off equal to your willpower points. So for the mallard, I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick so you guys can see it. For 3 willpower points, I can become angry, and then I get to have a boon to a skill roll because I'm ill-tempered. It cannot be used for rolls against intelligence or intelligence-based skills. And then web feet requires no willpower points, I just basically get a boon to all swimming rolls, and I move full speed in or underwater. The bestiary does include a new chart, if your game master allows, that basically you can roll on, or you can create your own charts, or you can pick, or whatever, that adds in Nightkin and Rarekin that has playable races, playable kin. So you have your standard ones, but then you have orcs, ogres, goblins, hobgoblins, frog people, Karkion, cat people, lizard people, and satyrs. My daughter ended up wanting to be a lizard, so we picked, because basically the first step is that you choose or roll your kin. I was just excited to see Mallard as a race, so I chose to be a Mallard as well instead of rolling. Normally I'm a huge random. Let the chaos gods decide how am I born? You know, it's like kind of like real life. You don't get to choose where you're born and who you are, you know. But in this case, I'm playing with my daughter, so I chose Mallard, and she chose lizard people. The other two players in our game actually rolled. Both of them rolled on the playable kin. Our game master said all of them are available, and they rolled orc and Karkion. So orc, we all know. Karkion, I had to look up. This was really kind of cool. They are this panther-looking, bat-winged race. And so I was like, that's really... I honestly think... I haven't researched this, so I don't know if there's any truth to it, so don't think this is fact. I think it's probably something from Swedish lore, or somewhere around that European theater, just because I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. And I could be wrong. It could be just something that Free League decided, hey, let's throw this in there. But his racial ability, his kin ability, is they got wings, of course. So for 1 willpower point, the bat-like wings allow him to move freely as if, you know, just like regular speed on foot, but flight. And then the orc has tough, which is basically for 3. Let's double check that real quick. Yeah, 3 willpower points. They auto rally, basically. They automatically rally. And that something about combat. I'll go over a little bit as I make the character and go over some rules or whatever. And eventually, if I do a combat thing, you'll see that. Basically, in this game, when you go to 0 hit points, you're not dead. You go down. So you're out of the fight. You're not necessarily unconscious. You could be, but you're not necessarily. But the only thing you can do is one of 2 things. Well, one you have to do every turn, and that's a death save or a death roll. If you pass, that's good. You have to pass 3 times, and then you get d6 points of hit points back, and you're up on your feet again. If you fail the death save 3 times, then you die, and it doesn't have to be in a row. I'm sorry. It's just you roll on your initiative each turn. You're gonna roll, and if you pass or fail, you get a mark, and then eventually, you know, you're up or you're down, and you're dead. During that, your only action that you could do if you wanted to is to try to self rally, and that is a willpower check. And if you pass, you're up. You're back in the fight. You can do other actions. You can run away. You can fight if you wanted to. The other way to rally is for somebody else to take an action and say, hey, get up, get back in the fight. You know, or hey, get up, get out of here before you get killed. You know, and that's going to be a persuasion check. And if they pass, you're up. And then you can act. Now, the caveat on that is you're still at 0 hit points. So if you get smacked, that's considered an auto fail. So if you get up you self-rally and you're up, but you decide to stay in the fight, you get smacked 3 times, you're dead. So something to take into consideration. But the orc basically can spend 3 willpower points and he just auto rallies without rolling against his willpower or being persuaded. He's up. He's up and he can do whatever. He's back in the fight, or he can run away or whatever. The lizard people, they have camouflage. For 2 or 3 willpower points, they get a boon to any sneaking rolls, so they're good at camouflaging. And so that's my daughter. So for this example, though, I will just make a quick roll. We're gonna go over here, and I'm just gonna roll. I'm just gonna roll off the basic ones for today. So I rolled a human. And of course, they have the nice little tips, so you can just pop it in there. There it is, human. I have adaptive. Adaptive is, as long as I can justify it to the game master, I can try to substitute another skill for an asked for skill check. But the rules are written that the game master should be lenient. You shouldn't be very, strict about, that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. You kind of be open-minded about it. It is, 3 willpower points. You can choose to make a roll using another skill of your choice. You got to be able to justify what this says. The GM has the final word, but should be lenient. So that's the adaptive trait for humans. So this character will be human. The next thing is just to note the innate ability. That is, like I said, that's adaptive. For Foundry, in order to use it, you just click on it and there it is. It says spend 3 willpower to use adaptive. It's not going to really do anything other than burn your willpower points. Just checking it off does it. It doesn't. You're still going to just make a roll. The next thing you're going to do is choose or roll a profession in the base game, or as it stands now out of all of the books. I'm sure eventually they will add more. They have artisans, bard, fighter, hunter, knight, mages, which come in 3 flavors: animist, elementalist, and mentalist. Then they have mariners, merchants, scholars, and thieves. I ended up rolling and getting a mage, so I decided to go ahead and roll again and roll to see which kind of mage. I had ended up with elementalist. My daughter chose hunter. She said that sounded cool. And actually, I should back up. She chose hunter, and then when we were looking at the kin, before she got to professions, I saw cat people, and I said, do you want to play a cat person? You can be a cat person. And my daughter, 11, mind you, says, I like cats, Dad, but I'm not sure I want to play one in the game. So I said, okay, well, here's the books. I gave her the PDFs onto her iPad and said, hey, read up on these, and these are the races you can be. So you could look around, or you could just randomly roll if you want. And she said, okay, I'll think about it. And then I, looked at the professions, and she said, ooh, hunter sounds fun. And she eventually came back and said, I want to play a lizard, because she made the connection that she liked the idea that for willpower points, she could camouflage and get a bonus to her sneak roll because she's a hunter. So it was a good start. I was kind of a proud father moment there on that one. Then, so we'll just roll on here. We're going to roll a profession real quick. This time, a character ends up being a bard. So I'm going to just drag that over here. It fills it in. Bards have musician. So under the profession of a bard, every profession basically has a key attribute, so you know which one you need to dump a lot of points into. Then you have 8 skills that are your profession skills. This will come into play in a minute. These are basically the ones you're going to be able to put the most, or to level up at the beginning. Then your heroic ability. In this case, it is musician. I'm going to have to look that one up because I know nothing about Uh, that one. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So musician is, I have to have a performance of 12, so I got to make sure I have that skill level up. And for 3 willpower points, my beautiful voice instills courage in my friends or fear in your foes. Activating this ability as an action in combat gives all allies within 10 meters a boon to all rolls, or a bane to all enemies within the same range. You choose one or the other. The effect lasts until your turn in the next round. Oh, nice. So it says, got a little note here, instruments. You can use instruments for the musician ability. This can increase the ability's range or reduce the cost in willpower. Interesting. Okay, by the way, this is a list of heroic abilities. So it's really kind of cool. All right, so since he's human, he's adaptive, and he is a musician. So I have to remember that performance, this one, needs to be 12 or higher, which will be easy to do. So then the next thing you do is you roll an age. So age in this game is just generic. Oh, sorry, let me move this over. Kind of blocked it off there with my, there you go. Is not any specific years or whatever. Basically, they do it as young, adult, and old. You can roll or choose. If you choose each, regardless of age, you're going to get to choose 6 of your 8 professional skills to rank up, to start off at a higher ability. Then you're going to either choose 2, 4, or 6 more skills, and they can be any skills. They could be your other professional skills, or they could be any other skill in the skill list. Then if you're young, you're going to increase your age. Your agility and constitution are going to be 1 point higher because, of course, you're young. Adults don't get anything else. If you're old, your intelligence and willpower will get a boost, but your strength, agility, and constitution will all take a -2 hit because you're old. So you roll on here. Bam. We rolls an adult, so that basically is going to be 6 and 4, no modifiers to any attributes, so that's pretty good. Then you can choose or roll your name. They do have a list of names for in the kin. So for like humans, if you look down here, there are 6 names that you can do. And I thought, wow, that list is kind of small. But if you really think about it, if you're running a game, you're only going to have 2 to maybe 6 players possibly. So, and then what are the odds you're gonna have 6 humans? You know, so you really, it's like, not that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we're gonna do Jaroon. I'm gonna turn that into Jaroon for my purposes. Come over here, boom. Temp is now going to be I'm going to do it that way with an E. Why not? Jaroon. Then you roll your attributes. So attributes in this game, again, turn that one off. You can see the influences: strength, constitution, agility, intellect, willpower, and charisma. I believe that's intellect. Sorry, I hit the button a little too many times, didn't I? Yeah, intelligence, sorry. And the base way to do it is to roll 4d6, drop the lowest, then pick a stat, put it into that stat. Do that 6 times, then you can switch any 2. They do say they're optional rules. You can do it any way that the group or the game master wants to do it. So you could just roll 6, put them in place wherever you want to put them, do a pool of points, whatever. Just as long as it's, I believe, 18. You can't go any higher than 18 and lower than 3, of course. But I think everybody in the group, all the players, our game master said you could do it however you want. our game master, our group, sorry, everybody went, you know what, we're going to do what rules is written. We're going to roll each stat, place it, and then switch to if we want to. So we're going to do that. I'm going to do that right now. So, bam. What do I got? A 14. Oh, you know what? Let me look at. So the bold skills are my professional. So agility, charisma, agility, intellect, charisma, knives, agility. So agility is going to be kind of important. So a 14, I think I'm going to put that. I'll put that in my constitution. Yeah. All right, next roll. Boom. Uh-oh, a 10. My guy's going to be a bard, so I don't think I'm going to make him all that strong. Let's just do that in strength. Oh, no. Another 10. Oh, I kind of want... Oh, because I want my charisma, of course, needs to be one of my higher ones. And agility, I kind of want to be higher, too, because that's weapons and acrobatics. Although intellect, man. Ah. You know, I'm going to put it in intellect. My bard's not a super smart guy. He's not super smart. He's not super strong. So, oh, I'm just not doing too hot. All right, well, we're going to have to put that into willpower. There we go. All right, 13. Oh, this is really, oh. All right, I'm going to have to hope that my last roll is my highest into charisma. 10! Oh, my God! Oh, no. My bard is not looking too hot. All right, well, we're going to have to change that because I need it to be... All right, I'm going to change Constitution and Charisma. Those are going to be my swap. That's going to be my swap. Oh, that is no bueno. Interesting. He's a little low on his stats. All right. Then there are derived ratings, which for derived ratings, it's fairly simple. There's a chart that you go to that your race gives you a starting movement, and then your agility gives you a bonus to that movement. Movement rate. So what we can do is I'll show it to you here, right here. So as a human, my base movement rate is 10 meters. My agility being a 13 pushes it to a +2, so that's what gives me 12. So I can move 6 squares in combat in a turn, or round. Sorry, round, turn, whatever it is. Then the next derived rating is your strength and your agility are used to determine if you get a strength bonus or an agility bonus when using strength or agility-based weapons. I get a D4 added to damage when using agility-based weapons, which is basically daggers and things like that. Bows as well. Then your hit points are going to be equal to your constitution. Your willpower is going to be equal to your willpower. That's your starts. Sorry, stats. So, now step 8 is to choose your trained skills. This is when you're going to go to your skills, and based on your age, for me, I'm an adult, so I get 6 professional skills and then 4 more. So I'm going to put them in knives. Oh, I'm so sorry. Each of your stats will correspond to your skills will correspond to a stat, which gives you a base number. Right here. So it gives you a base chance. So my 13s to 15s gives me a 6. If I had a 16 or higher, I would get a 7 in a stat. And then 9 to 12 is 5, and then go down to 3 and 4s in there. So you can see that right here. That's my base chance on a D20 to use any of these skills. When you pick your 6 professional abilities and then your 2, 4, or 6 additional skills, it doubles it to start the game with. So in this case, I'm going to pick 6. So of course I want knives. I want to be able to defend myself. So in this case, when I click on it, it does ask, do I want to train it for free or do I want to mark it? So I'm training it. See how it doubled to a 12. It shows a 12 now. And then I'm going to do, I need performance, of course. That gets me my ability. Then I want to be, I want to be able to evade attacks. I like the idea of being acrobatic and persuasive. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bluff. I'm not very intelligent. Not that my other stats are any better. So I'm not that sure if I want to learn languages or do the myths and legends. I'm a bard, though. I don't think I want to bluff. I think I'm going to do myths and legends. Yeah, it's only a 50% chance. So these are the skills. And this is what I like. They're pretty self-explanatory. Acrobatics, awareness, bartering. Beast lore is fun. It is basically, a giant scorpion comes over the hill. Well, somebody can make a beast lore roll and go, hey, watch out for the stinger. It's poisonous. We know that, but would the characters know that? So in this case, the beast lore, or it might be, go for the eye stalk, or hey, underneath the claw on the left arm of this type of scorpion is the weak spot. It'll give you boons to attacking it. Things like that. Bluffing, bushcraft, that's your survival in the wilderness and finding your way. Crafting is making stuff. That's everything from blacksmithing to creating a bow. Evade is evading and dodging out of the way of stuff. Healing, hunting and fishing. Languages is the ability to. So the way languages work in this game is your racial language, and everybody speaks a form of human tongue, general tongue type stuff. So, and that's just auto. Languages is actually a skill that lets you do the, hold on, I think what he's saying is we're trespassing, or that kind of thing. It's to, use your knowledge in languages and your intellect to ascertain what's being said by somebody speaking a foreign language to you. Myths and legends, I like that one. It's kind of a little bit of a catch-all in the Misty Vale and the world of oh, hey, there's a legend in this area about a ghostly thingy-majigger that only comes out on the pale red moon, that kind of thing. Performance, that's the acting and playing the flute, the lyre, all that good stuff. Persuasion, just that. Writing, seamanship, sleight of hand, sneaking, spot hidden, swimming. You got, you got it. You see it all. So those are my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I get to pick 4 more because I'm an adult. 2 if I would have been young, and 6 if I would have been old. So 4 more. Holy crud, what do I want to do? Do I want to just stick with knives? Or do I want to also... brawling is strength. I feel like my bard does not like to fight. He's a bard. Makes sense. I don't think I want to take any other... Ugh. Ooh, sleight of hand. He's a con man. He's a bard. He's a con man type of bard. And sneaking. Oh. Yeah, you know what? I kind of like that idea. So we're going to train up sneaking. Sleight of hand. He's a thiefly bard is how I'm going to treat this one. That's 1, 2. Ooh, maybe some bartering. Use my charisma bases for the... Yeah, I'm going to do bartering as my 3rd one. So my 4th one... Do I want a ranged? No. I think I'm going to use awareness. It's not very good, but I think awareness is going to be his... kind of like he uses awareness to keep an eye on the crowd on who to pickpocket or who, you know, how to sing his bardly type tunes, you know, an impromptu tail or thingy. So that should be my 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. So those are my skills. Then we go to heroic ability, which that's just look over your heroic ability to understand how they work. In this case, we know. Then we go to weaknesses. You can choose a roll of weakness. It's also an optional rule. You don't have to. I'm just going to roll it because, you know, it's character creation. So he craves knowledge. That's my weakness, is that he craves knowledge. The hunt for knowledge is more important than even my friends. Yikes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, actually, I got to cut and paste this one. They don't have it set up to, here it is, weakness. So I'm going to cut and paste it in here. I like this part to be bolded. So let's go ahead and bold that. All right. The hunt for knowledge is more important than my friends. So mechanically speaking, the way the weakness works is if you play to your weakness in the role-playing session, you can get a check mark in one of your skills to try to raise it. So there's a reason, and it's role-playing. Then you roll for your gear. Oh, I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that one. So you go into the profession, you find the profession, and again, you can choose or roll your gear that you want to start with. I really don't care, so I'm going to roll it as well. So, all right, so looks like I got a flute. I played the flute. Whatever, this way, that way, you know, or is it this flute or this flute? I don't know. Inventory. All right, and then they do have it where, bam, flute, 1 dagger, hemp rope, 10 meters, a torch, some flint and tinder. Oh, what is that, D6? Oh, D6 flint and tinder, sorry. Oh, no, not flint and tinder. Rations, D6 rations. I got 1 field ration, boo. And then D8 silver. Ooh, exciting. But that's my gear. I got a flute, field ration, 10-meter hemp rope, some flint and tinder, a dagger, and a torch. Can I pull that above it? Yeah, there we go. My OCD kicked in. I wanted my dagger above the torch. Then there's a nickname. I'm just going to make this one. We rolled 6. Rhymesmith. Jarun. Rhymesmith. Smythe. Oh, it's not going to fit. All right, we're just going to leave that there for now. All right. Bye. Then you have a memento. The memento also has a mechanical effect. It is a simple silver medallion that he has. What the memento does is you can, during a rest period, I think it's even a round rest. I'll cover that more later, but you can use your memento to cure a condition. So basically, if you were dazed or angry or scared or even sickly, you, like for me, I look, or maybe I rub my simple silver medallion and think about who gave it to me or where I got it or maybe who I stole it from. And I get to cure my dazed or my angry status. You know, it gives me inner peace, or it instills me with courage so I'm no longer scared. Or it gives me that second wind so I'm no longer exhausted. Oh, I didn't talk about that. So conditions are these things up here. Basically, each stat has a condition associated with it. Strength is exhausted, constitution is sickly, dazed, angry, scared, and disheartened. If you fail a test and you're allowed to do so, which typically you are, there are some cases when you can't, or maybe the GM decides, no, you can't push this roll. You can then take a condition in whatever and just be like, I didn't pick the lock, I'm getting angry. So what that does is anytime you make an intelligence-based skill check, or if you decide to be exhausted, a strength-based skill check, you take a bane until you can rest and get rid of that. But the memento lets you cure an extra one. Okay, and then the last thing is you choose a role in appearance, which I think of more as distinguishing characteristics, so to speak, I guess. Oh, of course, my bard has a glorious hairstyle. I'll have to, elaborate on that eventually, because I think I may actually stick this character into. Oh, you know what? I probably will. I'll probably use this character in the combat examples I'm going to give, or any other examples that I give for the game. Let me see. I should have. Sorry, I'm looking for. I forgot where they are. I don't know. Huh. I thought I knew where they were. Oh well, there's the humans or whatever that I could throw into there. A picture in there, but you could throw your own pictures in there. Oh, I did have a dope. I forgot. If you do young, see how my stats change? It does it for you. So you put your stats and then you apply the age and it'll take care of it for you. 48 minutes. All right. Round off the video at an hour. So it's been about 12 minutes now, real quick, just to kind of go over. So, like I said earlier, basically for your skill checks, it's you just go through and go, hey, I want to sneak. So I hit this. You choose whether you get boons or banes. If the game master says, yeah, take a boon. In my case, like when I do the musician, I click on it. I say, yes, I would like to spend 3 to do in a good spend 3 willpower to activate musician. I click on it. And it just lets me see what I do, which is basically it's just a performance test. I make the performance test. I rolled a 7. That's a pass. So now all my compatriots get a boon. Or had I declared, hey, I'm going to play a ballad and try to distract the enemy, then they get a bane. So everybody gets a boon from now on for the next phase or whatever, round of combat or whatever. And then if you roll a 1, that's a dragon. That's uber good. You roll a 20, that's a demon. That's bad. If you fail, like I said, I could get these different conditions. And so you have different rest. So you have a round rest you can do in combat. It doesn't do anything for you other than give you willpower back. So you're not going to get any health back. You can't get any kill any conditions. It's only to take as an action in combat. You just go, oh, I'm going to take a breather real quick, recover some willpower. So I could use my, because I only have, like you see the thing right there. I only have 11, so I can only do that 1, 2. So I can't even do it 4. I can only do it 3 rounds, and then I have to take a rest to get more willpower back to try to keep playing the flute and keep encouraging players or whatever. Take those off real quick. And then my little puny little dagger does D8, but I'll do D8 plus a D4 if I should hit something. There's the grip, so I can just go, hey, it's in one hand. It's actually in a hand, see? So, torches can be used as a weapon. You can see the stats right here. But when you do that, does it list it on here by chance? No, it does not. They have a chance of going out. So if you're swinging the torch around trying to smack things with it, you have a chance of getting out. The game does use an encumbrance. It is basically your half your strength rounded up, and the encumbrance is basically a simplistic system. Small items that are insignificant and don't really encumber you and take up space or weigh are 0s. Average items are 1s. Bulky items are 2s, etc. If your armor doesn't count, your weapon doesn't count because it's in a sheath, it's properly held, so its weight is distributed, that kind of thing. Backpacks give you 2 extra encumbrance points and do not have a weight themselves to count against you, of course. So like if you see here, my field rations are only a quarter of a encumbrance point. So if I had 4 field rations, it would be the equivalent of 1. When you become encumbered, you take banes to movement rolls, and I know your movement rates obviously takes effect. And if you're over twice your encumbrance, you actually can't move, I think. I think you have to make a check, and if you pass the check, you can move. If you fail, you cannot move. But again, I haven't really read those parts of the rules as much. I gave it to my buddy to do it. What was it that I wanted to go over? Oh, you can have 3 equipped or 3 ready weapons. I believe that's what this is or I think. So what the ready weapons or ready items do is, so let's say I had a bow or a sling, I could have that ready, which just means it's somewhere, I can go off my bow back and be like, oh, I'm ready to, shoot things, or I'm gonna pull my dagger out. Ready weapons can be put away and another one gotten out with no action point, so you don't have to waste an action to do it. But let's say it's in a backpack or something. If you go digging into your backpack, or it's in a boot knife or something, it's not considered a ready weapon, then it takes an action to pull the weapon out. Which I don't know, this bard, I might actually have him do that. He just carries a boot knife, so he looks unarmed, so he can use his persuasion and be like, hey guys, I'm unarmed, man, what's going on? Instead of having a dagger on my belt, I kind of like that idea, actually. But oh, I forgot to check the flute. Oh, nice. The flute actually reduces the willpower cost of my musician ability to 2. So I need to equip that. Bam. Because I bet you if it's equipped. Yeah, I bet you if I hit musician now. Oh no, spend 3. No, it does 3. Can I put it in here? Oh no, those are weapons. Never mind. Huh. That's okay. As a game master, I could just go in here and be like, okay, you know what? So, sorry. Right click, come in here and go, oh, it's going to cost me 2. And then I could just do a note in here. I bet you there's an effect. Maybe I can do an effect. Oh, right there. Ah. Yep. Okay. Can't spell musician, can I? Oops. Yes. We're gonna leave that. I gotta leave that at 3 though, because I want to see if I can make the effect. There we go. Only when equipped. No, spend 3. Dang it. Yeah, but that's okay. Coming up on an hour, but that's a character, and so my character would be technically ready to go. I'm gonna figure out that little thingy though. Oh, a new effect. Ha. So, but I'll play around with that because I'm sure there's got to be a way to do it, just to have it affect a musician. Alrighty then. Thanks for watching, and hopefully next video won't be never like I did with the Twilight 2000. I actually do combat, because combat in this game is brutal, because basically it's card-based initiative, 1 through 10. You get dealt an initiative, you go from lowest to highest, so 1 acts, 2 acts, 3 acts, 4 acts, but you only have 1 action. You can move and do an action, but if you do an action, you're going to flip your initiative card down, and then you can't even defend yourself. So this is one of those interesting things where I don't think I've ever seen this before, where you're going to actually go, ooh, I got initiative 1. I don't want to go first. I'm going to switch with this guy. Let the goblin go 1. I'm going to go 4. So if the goblin decides to attack somebody else, I got 4 on turn 4. Or initiative card 4, I can go, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. Or if the goblin attacks me, I go, okay, you know what? I'm going to defend myself. And then, boom. But then if a second goblin attacks me, I'm done. So ganging up on something is really, I mean, tactics become important in this one. Yeah, big time. Because if there's 2 or 3 players ganging up on one bad guy, he cannot defend himself. And then the other thing is monsters. So in the game, they have NPCs, and then they have monsters. NPCs act like players, so they have to use actions or whatever. Monsters have a stat called ferocity, which is the number of initiative cards they get. So if a monster has a 2 or 3 ferocity, he's going to draw 2 or 3 initiative cards. And then they'll act on both of those initiatives. Also, monsters don't roll for attacks like we do or NPCs do, so they can't miss. They're going to roll a d6 on a chart, and that chart is going to determine what that monster does. So on a turn, the game master can roll the die, and it'll be like, for example, let's go back to the scorpion that I mentioned earlier during the beast lore thing. Maybe he has a claw attack. He's going to try to snap a guy in half. So he's going to try to grab, he's going to go and grab a player, and that player is going to take a D10, 2d10 damage from that claw attack. Or maybe it's a claw swipe. He swipes, and all heroes within 2 meters have to make a or are going to get knocked. Roll a d10. That's how many meters they fly away, and it's how much damage they take. Now, monster attacks can be evaded unless it states otherwise in the attack, and monster attacks cannot be parried unless it states otherwise in the thing. So you can't parry a monster's claw attack, obviously, makes sense, but you can dive out of the way. But let's say it's a stinger attack or something. You know, maybe the stinger attack says, yes, you can parry that because he's attacking with a stinger, and maybe you can, whack it out of the way. And I like it because, like, I can see that. I don't know for real. I haven't seen a scorpion. I don't even know if a scorpion is even in the game. I'm assuming it probably is in the bestiary, but I can see like a giant scorpion, which is not, if giant scorpion being, 3-4 times the size of a guy, that his stinger attack could be possibly parried with a weapon. But let's say a hill giant or something that's huge, it's 10 times the size of a man with a big tree for a club, and it will say, it doesn't say that you could parry it, so obviously you can't. And that makes sense because you can't parry a tree being swung at you. So I like that kind of thing. I was a little leery at first. I was like, I didn't like the fact that they would automatically hit you, do the thing. But with the evade and the possible parrying, it feels more thematic. So it's like, oh, shoot, this guy's swiping me with a claw. I'm going to roll out of the way. But, oh, wait a minute. Remember what I told you about acting? So if that goblin attacked me and I defended myself, now the scorpion goes and he decides to attack me and he does the claw sweep or claw grab. I just got to suck it up. I got to take it and hope I don't die. And then if you go, like I said, if you go down to 0, you see on the sheet here, it says death roll, successes, and failures. So you're going to mark those each time you roll. And there's actually a mechanic for rolling it right here. But we're going into over an hour now, so I don't want to get too much into that. So I hope you found this helpful as far as Foundry and making a character for Dragonbane. Quickly becoming one of my favorite role-playing game systems. But all right, I'll see you guys around the table.